Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. And I wanted to talk about how to communicate in a relationship. Communication is one of those things that I get questions about all the time in my one-on-one coaching sessions. And I would honestly say probably about 70 to 80% of the people that I work with specifically have issues with communication. Now, oftentimes I I feel like people think they're really good at communicating, and I hear people say all the time, "I'm a great communicator. I express how I feel all the time. I don't exactly understand why my partner isn't getting it or why they aren't understanding me." But the reality is you may not be as good at communication as you think you are because there are fundamentals and basics about in communication that are necessary in order to navigate conversations in a relationship. So the way that you converse with your friends, the way that you converse with your family may be a little bit differently, as it may be different to how you converse in a relationship. Now, you shouldn't eliminate that kind of casual feeling of communication because that's an important part of the dynamic of the relationship. But you are also a little bit more emotionally responsible for your partner. So the way that you speak to them and the way that you try to express to them your needs is going to be a little bit different. So, how do you effectively communicate in a relationship? How should you speak to your partner? The first one and the primary one is listen to understand, not be right. I say this to my clients all the time in one-on-one coaching sessions, especially couples when they come to me and they are, stuck in this standoff. And the primary thing that I say is, are you listening to understand your partner or do you just want to be right? Because if you just want to be right, you're never going to get anywhere, right? The purpose of listening and the purpose of communicating is coming to a understanding of how each other is feeling, understanding each other's perspectives, respecting each other's perspectives and ideologies, and trying to come to a middle ground and resolve conflict. So the primary one, like I said, is, are you listening to understand? And in order for you to be able to listen to understand, I always try to get my clients to understand something called active listening. And active listening basically means that you are fully focused on the conversation. You are focused on what your partner is saying. You're making eye contact, you're acknowledging, you're giving physical and verbal cues that you're listening to them. So you're nodding your head, you're saying things like, uh-huh, yes, I understand. And not only that, but you're also retaining the information. So you're able to reiterate what they said to you if you need some kind of clarification or better understanding of what they are saying to you. The second part, or the second thing that you need in order to have good communication in a relationship, is practicing empathy. So putting yourself in your partner's shoes, right? So to be empathetic is to be able to connect to somebody emotionally and understand where they are coming from. Now, you don't necessarily have to completely understand, but empathy is also you being able to provide support, even if there's something that you don't necessarily comprehend yourself. So if your partner is going through something emotionally, like for example, if they are stuck in a cycle of depression or anxiety, and you yourself do not suffer from depression or anxiety, it can be very difficult to try to relate to them. But that does not mean that you can't still practice empathy. And that looks like you saying, look, I don't 100% understand what you are going through right now, but what can I do to make you feel better? How can I support you throughout this process? That is exercising empathy, and that is having an understanding that your partner is also feeling certain emotions, and you would want them to reciprocate as well. So if you practice empathy, then your partner will also feel okay practicing empathy because it'll be a balance between the two of you. The third one, and one that I mentioned before many times in these types of videos, is learn your partner's triggers. Understand what upsets them, what frustrates them, what potentially would build resentment in a relationship. So for example, if your partner hates it when you say, calm down, and and this is one that I hear all the time, right? So if somebody's in a heightened state of emotion and they're really upset and they're trying to express themselves to their partner and their partner says, calm down. Calm down is probably the worst thing that you can say to somebody when they are in a heightened emotional state. So again, if you know that this is a trigger for your partner, just don't say it. Choose something else. Decide to just stay quiet and and support them and allow them to kind of express themselves in that moment. Give them that space, give them that freedom of feeling safe, right? Or let's say, for example, and this is just kind of like a generic household thing, right? So your partner hates when dirty dishes are in the sink. Don't leave dirty dishes in the sink. Clean up after yourself and put it in the dishwasher so that your partner doesn't have to come home and see dishes in the sink. Now, that may seem very neurotic and just very kind of like obsessive, but at the end of the day, the point of conflict resolution is to avoid conflict altogether. And if this is a small thing that you can do in order to avoid conflict, then do it. And it's like I say to my clients all the time, pick and choose your battles. Do you want to have a huge drawn out argument over a dish? It just isn't really logical. So invest the time in understanding what your partner's triggers are and avoid them. The fourth one is just understanding the concept between a fair fight and an unfair fight. And I have mentioned this before in previous videos about communication, and understanding a fair fight and an unfair fight is a complete and total game changer when it comes to communication in a relationship. So what is an unfair fight? An unfair fight is when somebody is at a disadvantage. So they've just come home from work, they're extremely tired, they don't have the energy to have an intense conversation, and that is when you choose to have, an argument or bring up something that's been bothering you for weeks now, right? That's an unfair fight. Your partner is not emotionally capable or ready for that conversation. It will not be a productive conversation. You will not feel fulfilled because you're not going to feel like your partner is fully understanding you or listening to you, and it will just get tucked away again until it comes out at a different time. A fair fight is when an argument is scheduled or planned out. Now, I completely understand. Arguments are inevitable in a relationship, right? But the big arguments, the big issues should be dealt with when they are scheduled. And that gives your partner the ability to prepare for the conversation. That gives you time to prepare for the conversation. And it kind of reduces the amount of anxiety and stress around the specific topic that you want to speak about, right? These scheduled conversations should also just deal with one specific thing. So pick one topic that you want to discuss and flush that out in that conversation. Oftentimes, I find that clients want to kind of deal with everything at one time. And if you try to deal with everything at one time, it'll be like trying to herd cats. It's not really going to work. You're not going to have a productive and efficient conversation. You'll end up getting lost in the conversation. You'll start to get frustrated and you're back to square one. So focus on one thing at a time. A fair fight also does not involve ultimatums. That's considered an unfair fight. If you throw an ultimatum around and say, if you don't start doing this, then I'm going to leave you. If you don't start doing this, then I'm going to take this away. That's not a fair fight. That's not productive, and that's not dealing with your partner in a positive way. The last and final thing when it comes to good communication, when it comes to a relationship, is talk to your partner with respect, or just genuinely have respect for your partner, right? Understand that they are another living, breathing human being. And the respect that you feel you deserve is a respect that you should be giving to your partner as well. And what does respect mean? It means speaking to them in a way that is acceptable for them, delivering information and messages in a way that they receive it positively. Understanding and accepting them for their beliefs and their morals and their ideologies. That is something that should have been established prior to even getting into a committed relationship. If there are things about your partner that you did not respect, then the relationship should have never continued in the first place. So making sure that you respect your partner is one of the primary things that you need to be able to do in a relationship in order to have a fulfilling and happy relationship that you can maintain and sustain. Again, as I mentioned before, communication is such a big thing. It is one of the top subjects that I get all the time in my one-on-one coaching sessions. So I created a product specifically around communication, how to communicate in a relationship. And it's broken down into the fundamentals of communication. And then the second part of it is conflict resolution. I promise you guys, this is something that will change the dynamic of your relationship for the better. It will change your life. It will change how you perceive your partner, how you perceive yourself, and how you are able to navigate these types of arguments and conversations. So if communication is something that you struggle with, then I highly suggest going to the Happily Committed website and clicking on the tab that says product and purchasing the communication product. It will help you exponentially in your relationship. If you feel like you're related to this topic, or if you liked this topic, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. I love having open dialogue with people. So if there is something that you feel I may have missed, or you just genuinely liked the information that I provided you, please leave your comments down below in the comment box. If you just want more details and you want to dive in a little bit deeper, please make sure you visit us at happilycommitted.com, where we have a multitude of different articles and blogs and videos that you can utilize. If you want to book a one-on-one coaching session with myself or any of the other amazing coaches on the team, you can also book directly through the website. Hope you guys are staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you guys soon.